Okay, good afternoon to all our viewers. Welcome to Speak Up Africa, a civic engagement digital platform. My name is Nancy Mtamsi Ki Nyanjui, and I'm your host. Remember to follow us on our social media pages, that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn, as we talk on how best we can improve our society. Now, today's topic, we measure on the importance of equipping the youth with skills for employment, decent work, and entrepreneurship. Joining me in this conversation are two gentlemen. My first guest is from Kenya, that is Charles Wahinya, an account and influencer manager at Ogilvy Africa. And my second guest, that's from Tanzania, Avitas Mushumba, Director for Youth for Africa. Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles and Advitas for agreeing to be part of this conversation. I'd like to give this opportunity to Charles to give us an introductory remark of himself. Tell
Oh,
us what
thank
you
you,
do.
Nancy, for hosting me
Yeah.
here. So I'm Charles Wahinya. Currently, I'm an account and influencer manager at Ogilvy Africa. I'm a youth. Um, I'm 23 years, so I'm happy to take you through. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Charles. Avitas, introduce yourself. Also, tell us what you do.
My name is Aravitus Mushumba. I'm a social entrepreneur, and basically, for the past 13 years, I've been constantly working with the youth, and especially in the employment sector and education.
Thank you very much, Charles and Avitas. Now, my first question goes to you, Charles. My, oh, sorry, I thought my mic was had been muted. My first question goes to you, Charles. Now, the UN, in 2014, the UN declared July 15th as World Youth Skills Day to celebrate the strategic importance of empowering the youth with skills for entrepreneurship and decent work and employment. And this year's theme was transforming youth skills for the future. Why do you think it's important for us to commemorate this day?
So while the youth skills day is very important because in most cases we get a platform where we can discuss maybe the problems the youths have been facing. And when it comes to problems, in most cases, it's surely unemployment or maybe the modern day problems. But in this day, we get to discuss the problems and how we can solve them through the soft skills that we have. So I feel like it's very important because we now discuss the problems we encounter and how we can solve them in the modern day.
Thank you, Charles. Avitas, you have an organization which focuses on empowering the youth and also, educating them on the things they need to know as they are looking for a job. Why do you think it's important for us to celebrate and to mark World Youth Skills Day every year?
Well, thank you. For some of us who are constantly working with the youth, it's not really about the day itself. It's about what the day can do in what the day can do as contribution to what we constantly do day in day out throughout the year. Well, as you mentioned in the introduction, the day was mainly for to commemorate the skills, the to focus on the skills and eventually lead to decent work and employment. Now, this is like Christmas for Christians. It's not like they practice Christianity on Christmas Day, but just it's a day that they celebrate what the whole year means for them in what they practice in their religion. So it's the same for us who work in the with the youth. So this day is a day that uh, brings focus to the youth from everyone. So like if someone will not have been able to come across youth issues in their day-to-day work, this could be a day to broadcast that and talk about these things. And 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 the situation at hand has always reminded us of days like this, and we hope that such days will be given the attention that they need, so that the youth will get what the information that they need will be shared more widely, and accepted more by the people who are concerned, and especially the policymakers, because days like this help us engage the policymakers easier, and probably they would work on the things that we talk about on this day.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Avitas. Now we're coming from a pandemic, and this is like 2 years now, and we saw so many businesses being affected. We saw so many people losing their jobs. Um, Charles, what are some of the skills do you feel like the young people need to reemerge or even survive during such crisis after the COVID-19 pandemic?
I'll start by giving maybe a story of the previous KCSE, that is the national KCSE. And when I looked at the first position, the student who performed pretty well, and most of them you look that the kind of choices they were making were the obvious ones there. I want to become a mechanical engineer, I want to become a doctor. And I thought about why are they not equipping themselves with the skills of the modern day. So one, the most important skills currently is maybe the technology skills, where maybe they know how to use the internet, they know how to use mobile phones, they know how to maybe sell their products online, such that the skills can not only help them secure a job, but can also help them advance their career. Also, many youths are going for soft collar jobs. They want to be working in the offices, but they forget the soft skills which are very essential. The likes of plumbing and the likes of mechanical skills are very important currently and very marketable. And most of the time, you discover that the students or the youths do not understand such skills. So I find the use of the internet, that is tech, use of phones, browsing, are very essential currently, as well as the soft skills like the plumbing and the kind of small mechanical engineering, maybe let's say setting up sockets, etc. They are very essential currently. The youth should take and leverage on those skills.
Okay, Avitas, what's your take on that? What are some of the skills that you feel the youth need, to survive during this crisis, not only just COVID-19? Of course, there are so many issues that affect businesses and companies, organizations, and all that.
Oh well, I think my views does not go further than what he said earlier, and for me, the most important ones is the digital participation skills, and for most youth, this particular skill open many doors and opportunities that were not there before, and uh, once a young person has mastered, these skills, and they can navigate well in this technological world, I think these skills they pretty much they pretty much fit in every field, and those who have made it through the pandemic know that most people who have actually made money during the pandemic, it's been through this digital skills. And most people who have actually not been able to survive the pandemic, it's because they've been left behind by technology, and they've not been able to reinvent themselves and adapt to the changing times. uh, as we can see, for the past 2 years, uh, internet marketing and all that has really grown exponentially, and the turnover in that sector, it, there is nothing you can say about it other than it's it's really grown, and it's still growing, and the potential in it it's a lot. And well, that's one. But again, like Charles said, the TVET, what is provided by the TVET institutions. These skills will never go out of fashion because at some point we all need shirts to wear and somebody to make them. We all need shoes to wear and somebody to make them. And not only make them, somebody to repair them once they, once they're they're damaged. And these skills are for a long time been taken for granted, and people have taken them for skills that failures do, but it's not the case. There is a lot of business there, and the only part of it that has really stayed has kept its reputation probably is the creative industry and the artists and all that. So I think these are skills that are important, and that the youth should shy away from them. Well, there's a skill that is not usually spoken of, and I usually emphasize it when I speak to the youth. And this is about the finance skill. If you start a business, in whatever way, and you don't have these financial skills, that business will not grow. It will grow to some point, and at the end of it all, you lose it. So this is a skill that everyone needs. Everyone needs, in whatever sector, whatever skill they have. This is a skill that everyone has to have. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Is there any skill gap that you feel like the youth are lacking? The moment you are hosting these youth in your organizations, which skill in particular have you realized that the youth, majority of the youth are lacking? Avitas.
So someone would have graduated as an accountant or whatever, let's say in procurement or anything. Then they'll come to the office and they don't have the practical side of it. So they'll just have a theory and there's no practical side of it. And it's unfortunate that there is no mechanism to make sure that this youth learn the practical skills of the theory that they're going through in the classes. And to generalize it, I'll say the practicability of what they have learned in classes. That is what is lacking in the market. So they'll have the certificate, but they cannot perform what they've learned, and it takes them time, and it's a shock to see these things. But in my experience, those who have gone through the conventional way of learning, like primary school, secondary school, university, they lack these skills as compared to those people who go through the someone who will go through the vocational institutions, like someone who will go through the TVET way of learning, because that's the way I divide the education system in. I'll say it in Tanzania. So if you're certified, it's either through the conventional way or through the TVET system. So the people who go through the TVET system, they are certified and they mostly have the practical skills to do what they are certified in, compared to the other conventional certified youth. So for me, that is the biggest challenge that employers are facing when employing the youth.
Okay. Thank you. Charles, you spoke about technology, the internet, that's the digital skills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like you to tell us, is there a way the youth, maybe when you're assessing is there a way a youth can be, how do you assess the level of preparedness for them to be, equipped with the digital skills?
Okay, so for my industry, it's a very unique kind of industry. Currently, no school will go and teach you how to use Facebook, how to use Twitter, how to use Instagram. So mostly these are self-taught skills, and maybe just for a few, maybe courses that are given by Google, some by Facebook, others by Twitter, but many of them actually do not go and study. So among the challenges that I encounter is in my career is that I find people do not know how to teamwork, because when it comes to digital, you need to maybe consult your friends, work together. So most youths who join my industry do not how to work together. They are always in a competition. They want to compete with other maybe digital marketers, other content creators. Instead of working together so that they can give maybe substantial maybe results. So most of them, they are working as individuals, which maybe hinders better results. The second one is most youths lack communication skills. Talk about just a simple email, the way they write it, you find them they are maybe um, speaking to people, maybe their seniors in a very normal manner instead of maybe talking to a respectable manner, and they find that maybe the client will feel that these people are kind of rude. So those are some of the challenges. As for the my industry, it's self-taught, so a person need to be passionate to become a digital marketer, should be willing to learn, and should be maybe willing to research. So that's the kind of problems I encounter. And I'm actually sympathizing with some of the youths who are not ready to learn or maybe perfect their skills on their own.
Mhm. Thank you. Avitas, I'd like you to tell us, how do we empower the youth with the knowledge for them to understand the importance of acquiring the skills? Because most of the people, they tend to think about this the moment they lose their jobs. Many people are very comfortable in their jobs, in their employment, where they are. And I'd like you to tell us, how do we go about it? How do you empower the youth with the importance of, with the knowledge of them to understand how important this is?
Well, Nancy, I think Charles has put it in a very, elaborate way. He said, first these youth have to know that they don't have the skills, because really, they think that the way they chat with someone on WhatsApp is the same way they write an email, or the same way that they'll write an application letter, or probably they write a CV. So first of all, they need to know that they they lack these skills. They need to know that first. Then that's when they can take the steps to learn. Uh, and and as Charles said, some of these skills are self-taught, and they need to go an extra mile and learn these skills. You know, as an example of digital marketing, some of these platforms do a lot of things for their users. So like if I'm trying to market a product on Facebook, on Instagram, there are already algorithms to do that. There's a, you just put your program there, product there, and probably select your target group. So it's all guided. And if you take the initiative to learn, it's the information is all out there. So first, they have to know that they don't have the skills, and they have to take the initiative to acquire these skills. And again, there's a role that us as the society have to take, or the government. Again, the curriculums don't really match to the requirements of the market. So if the curriculum stays the same, then there's nothing much we're doing for this youth. We're just wasting their time through school, and then throwing them into deep water after school, and they have to learn to swim on the go. And statistics will tell you, most of them will drown. And I think that is a way to go. So we have to work on our curriculums, and again, in particular, there is a emphasis on internship and apprenticeship, and I think that's a good way. That's a good road to take, and it will really shorten the path to where we want to go, and the youth will get what they want from that.
Okay. Charles, what do you think about that? I mean, what's, in your opinion, what way do you think we should use to educate? Like here in Kenya, we've seen most people are very comfortable in their jobs, and after during the pandemic, that's when people realized, man, we need to have skills. I need to do this. How do you think we should go about it? What's the way, the easiest way to educate these people, even as they are comfortable in their respective jobs?
I feel COVID-19 was actually a good thing because it exposed the kind of things we used to do. Some of the people need to stop going to the office and maybe work from home. So it's time now we embrace change. The likes of we don't need to go to a meeting and we just need to join a Zoom meeting. We need to embrace change that you don't need to have one job, but you can work in maybe dedicate some few hours to work in one company, then the rest of the hours to work in another company. So it's time we embrace working from home, working remotely. We also need to embrace not dedicating maybe your 8 to 5 or maybe 10 hours to a single company, but to give it to maybe 3 or 4 companies. Also, it's time now we embrace digital, because digital is everything. Currently, especially during COVID, some countries had a lockdown. So does that mean that people will not eat? People need to order food on Glovo, they need to order food on Bolt. When it comes to services, you don't need to come to my shop to buy anything. I can just deliver it to your place. So we are moving to a world of convenience, and it's time now we embrace change, because the people who don't embrace change, they usually lose out on a lot of things. I will give you an example. Like, I remember when Facebook was coming in Africa. I remember back in the days our parents used to say, "Hii kitu ni ya shetani," like this is a certain thing, it's making you just stay on your phone. Little did they know that their children will maybe depend on that 100%. So even currently, as people are talking about what is blockchain, what is Bitcoin, what is Web3, what is Metaverse, it's time we embrace it, because that's the future. You cannot fight it. So for the youths, they also need to change. There are some courses which are already outdated. They don't need to do them. They just need to embrace the new things that they are coming. So the much the person conforms with the things that are currently ongoing or things that are trending, it's the more they get, maybe they're in a better position to get those kind of jobs, and maybe get more jobs, or maybe perfect their skill. So it's time we conform with what's going on with the world, and maybe jump into it and just embrace it. Otherwise, fighting it, or maybe staying to, let's say an example, somebody was doing accounting, they still want to calculate it with their pens and books. They will remain irrelevant, because the nowadays we have systems that can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so many people are making money through social media. Now that you've mentioned Facebook and how it was rebuked by parents. Yeah. So, Avitas, I would like you to tell us what are some of the challenges that these training institutions are facing when it comes to developing the skills for the young people?
Well, the most common challenge as a developing country that Tanzania is, is the resources. And we can as well point fingers and say this or say that, but this is a problem and it's here. Probably it is here for the next 10, 15 years. And we have to make do with what we have. So resources is the first problem. And for me, what I say is when knowing the direction and making the right priorities will solve this problem, because well, it's not just a problem in third world countries, it's a problem everywhere, because resources will never be enough. But again, making the right priorities will help solve this problem. But at the same time, there is a lot of backward technology in our education system that we need to get rid of. The times of having, well, while I was in school, we used to have curriculums and we used to do metalwork and woodwork. But this same machine that we used in the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, they're still the same ones that are in the institutions right now. So I think if we could start with that, at least it will update our education and, at least put it at par with the way the world is going. Because, things change and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you don't change with it, these problems will just grow bigger and bigger. And again, there is this issue of unqualified trainers. Well, these institutions have people who are supposed to, to train this youth and take them to the next generation. But again, them themselves have not got, are not at par with the technology. So like you'll have a 60-year-old lecturer, still teaching coding the same way they used to teach in the early 2000s and the early 90s. But again, nowadays, the youth have templates and things that have already been done for them and simplified, that even if I'm not a really specialized person, I can still, make a website. And again, that's a wake up call that we should really go for trainers or tutors, or should I call instructors, that are up to date with the technology, and uh, and and instead of holding the youth back, they really help, uh, they really help the youth in developing their skills. So I think those are the two things we can do to change the situation.
Yeah, so how can we change it? I mean, it's the institutions that are going through these problems. Like, for example, I'm trying to ask in the context of what can be done. Is it support? Are they getting the support from education ministry, or what really should be done? Because you've spoken about they should focus on the right priorities. I'm very curious to know what are these priorities, and also to the problems that you have mentioned, what can be done? What do you think that should be done? Because the problem is on their end, and of course on how to resolve it they need another, different, another party to come and help them.
So when I say priorities, I mean, so like, instead of replacing let's say the head of the institution has a V8, and that V8 is it's outdated now, that will be replaced really quickly. But when I say the learning materials and the so that are needed to teach this youth are outdated, or they are the breakdown takes ages to replace those. That's what I mean when I say priorities. And the resources will never be enough, but once the right priorities are prioritized, we will move faster than the way we are doing right now. So that is the
Yeah.
context of priorities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nancy, you're speaking on mute.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I'm asking Charles, what do you think we should do? What are some of the solutions that you feel would serve well in solving some of the issues that these training institutions are going through?
Um, so mostly, especially on my space, I've been teaching maybe my friends who are starting maybe small businesses how they can leverage on social media to get customers and to make sales. So as much as I'm helping on my maybe on my space, everyone has a hand to offer to the youth. I usually say like every person needs to have a mentor and should have maybe two or three people he or she is also mentoring their space. So if everyone should be can be helping for three people, then we could be making the world a better place. So let's have mentors and also have mentees, maybe the people who we can be mentoring to join our careers or maybe to join our space.
Yeah. And do you feel like in Kenya, the education system is geared towards skills development, Charles?
Um, okay, for me personally, I studied H44, which is more theoretical, left for maybe promoting small talents like maybe drama festival and music festivals. So H44 is more of pushing for theories, but good thing we have the likes of CBC, which is the new curricula, which is helping a lot of maybe children to learn the soft skills like cooking. I usually look at the kind of homework they get, and I'm shocked because maybe they are told to create a table, and a parent is there who studied it for four, and he has never maybe or she has never created maybe or gone to a furniture kind of a class or carpentry kind of a class, and you find the homework is even a challenge to the parent. So I like the new curricula in Kenya, which is CBC, which is helping maybe students get the soft skills which is lacking in the job market, and making us move away from just theoretical kind of an education system. So I can say I can see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Okay. Avitas, what's happening in Tanzania? Is the education system geared towards that?
Well, it's bits and pieces. Some the TVET system is really headed in the direction, except the conventional education system is not yet. And well, the it's on its way to get there, and there are plans for it. And recently, the ministry issued a statement that they're working on the syllabuses and stuff like that. And we hope so. Let's see if that comes out as great as we would wish it to. But there's hope at the end of the tunnel. True.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We've come to the end of this discussion, and I know Avitas and Charles, your insights are very helpful to the youth, of course, to the ones that are not employed in public or private organizations, to those that do not have academic certificates, even to the employed ones. I believe that they now understand the essence of why we need these skills, for they help you become more creative and start up your own business, no matter the condition, the crisis that people are going through. Yeah, so thank you very much, Avitas and Charles, once again, for agreeing to be part of this conversation. Yes, and to my viewers, thank you. We've come to the end of this. Remember to follow us on our social media pages, that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. My name is Nancy Mtansi Kinanjui. I've been your host. Have a lovely week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.